And here it is, the moment we've all been waiting for. The mysterious figure steps forward, the clack of their shoes echoing through the now silent restaurant. The wealthy woman's once smug expression has shifted into something else entirely. Is that worry? Oh, yes, it is. As the figure gets closer, the room seems to hold its breath. And then, with a calm but commanding voice, the person speaks. Is there a problem here? They ask, their eyes fixed directly on the wealthy woman. But here's the kicker. This isn't just the manager. Oh no, this is the owner of the restaurant. And not just any owner. This is someone the wealthy woman knows all too well. Pause. Before we delve into this story fully, I want you to clear your schedule, because this is one story you'll enjoy to the fullest. Make sure to hit the subscribe button to stay connected and enjoy more amazing stories. Ladies and gentlemen, gather round, because this is the kind of story you won't want to miss. Picture this, an upscale high-end restaurant where the chandeliers glisten, the wine glasses sparkle, and every plate looks like it's been kissed by the hands of a Michelin-starred chef. The air is filled with the soft hum of polite conversation and the tantalizing aroma of gourmet dishes. It's a place where elegance and sophistication reign supreme. Now in walks her, a wealthy woman, dressed to the nines in designer labels, dripping in jewels, and radiating an aura of entitlement that could knock over a room. You know the type, chin held high, eyes scanning the room as if she owns it. Her heels click against the marble floor as heads turn. But she's not here for anyone's admiration. Oh no, she's here to dominate. She's seated at the best table, of course. And as the waitress approaches, a young, polite woman with a genuine smile and a hint of nervousness, the tension begins to build. The wealthy woman's gaze narrows as she scrutinizes the waitress from head to toe, the judgment practically oozing out of her. And then the first words fall like sharp daggers. Is this the service you consider acceptable here? The woman sneers, loud enough for nearby diners to hear. The waitress stiffens, but responds with practiced professionalism, unaware of the storm that's about to brew. This is only the beginning, folks. Little does she know, the tables are about to turn in a way she never saw coming. And now the story takes a sharp turn. The wealthy woman leans back in her chair, the smugness practically dripping off her as she snaps her fingers to summon the waitress. Her voice cuts through the air like a knife, loud enough for the entire restaurant to hear. Is it so hard to find decent help these days? She says, her words laced with venom. The waitress, trying her best to keep her composure, approaches with a polite smile that only seems to irritate the woman further. Are you even qualified to work here? The woman sneers, her perfectly manicured nails tapping impatiently on the tablecloth. She dismisses the waitress's attempt to apologize and continues her tirade, complaining about everything from the service to the ambiance, even though it's clear she's just looking for something. Anything to criticize. By now, the other diners are starting to shift in their seats, uncomfortable with the scene unfolding before them. Eyes glance around nervously, and whispers ripple through the room. The tension is palpable, thick enough to cut with a knife. But the waitress? Oh, she's standing there, holding her ground. Even as her cheeks flush with embarrassment, she knows better than to snap back, even though you can see in her eyes that she's fighting back tears. She takes a deep breath, ready to respond as calmly as she can. And then it happens. A hush falls over the restaurant as someone steps forward. It's the manager, or so it seems. But wait, there's something different about this person. The air shifts, and you can almost feel the power they bring with them. Who is this person, and why is the wealthy woman suddenly stiffening in her seat? Oh, the plot thickens, and you'll want to stick around to see what happens next. And here's where things get juicy. The wealthy woman, fully in her element, leans forward with a smug grin, thinking she's won. The waitress, bless her heart, is trying her best to keep the service going despite the verbal onslaught. But the woman isn't done. Oh no. She doubles down, raising her voice even louder. I don't know how a place like this hires such incompetent staff. She sneers, waving her hand dismissively. This level of service is embarrassing. I'll make sure your manager hears about this. The poor waitress nods, still polite. though her hands tremble slightly as she clears the table. Other diners are now blatantly staring, some whispering to each other, others shaking their heads at the unnecessary drama. You can feel the second-hand embarrassment ripple through the room like a wave. And just when it seems like this wealthy woman is completely untouchable, like she's the queen of her own twisted little world, the unexpected happens. From the back of the restaurant, a figure emerges. Calm, poised, and with an unmistakable air of authority. They walk with purpose, their presence commanding the attention of everyone in the room. Heads turn, conversations stop. And suddenly, the wealthy woman's smug expression falters. You can see the flicker of realization in her eyes as the figure approaches. Her confident demeanor begins to crack just slightly. "Oh no!" You can almost hear her thinking. "It can't be them. The game is about to change, my friends, and the tables. Well, they're about to turn in the most satisfying way possible. Stay with me. This is where things get really good." And here it is, the moment we've all been waiting for. The mysterious figure steps forward, the clack of their shoes echoing through the now silent restaurant. The wealthy woman's once smug expression has shifted into something else entirely. Is that worry? Oh yes, it is. As the figure gets closer, the room seems to hold its breath. And then, with a calm but commanding voice, the person speaks. "Is there a problem here?" they ask, their eyes fixed directly on the wealthy woman. But here's the kicker. This isn't just the manager. Oh no, this is the owner of the restaurant. And not just any owner. This is someone the wealthy woman knows all too well. You can see it happen in real time. Her confidence crumbles. Her cheeks flush. Her mouth opens as if to speak, but no words come out. Why? Because this isn't some stranger. This is someone she's wronged in the past. A friend she betrayed, a business partner she underestimated, or maybe even an employee she once treated just like she's treating the waitress now. The room is frozen in anticipation. The owner turns to the waitress, their tone kind and reassuring, and says, "You've been doing a great job. Please take a moment to breathe. I'll handle this." Then they shift their gaze back to the wealthy woman, who's now looking like a deer caught in headlights. The power dynamic has flipped, and it's clear to everyone in the room. The queen has been dethroned. But the owner doesn't yell, doesn't stoop to her level. Instead, they stand tall, their presence alone enough to deliver the message. The era of her entitlement ends here. And oh, you can't help but savor every second of it. If you're feeling this story, kindly hit the subscribe button. Now to stay connected and enjoy the rest of the story. And now, my friends, the moment of reckoning. The wealthy woman sits frozen, her once smug demeanor shattered like fine china hitting the floor. The restaurant owner, calm and composed, stands before her, radiating authority. The room is so silent you could hear a pin drop. The owner turns to the wealthy woman with a look that is equal parts understanding and power. "It seems there's been a misunderstanding," they say, their voice steady but cutting through the tension like a blade. The wealthy woman tries to speak, stumbling over her words, but nothing coherent comes out. It's clear she's out of her element now. Then comes the subtle twist of the knife, not in anger, but in justice. "You see," the owner continues, "this waitress you've been berating all evening? She's one of the hardest working people here, and in this restaurant we treat our staff with respect." The words hang in the air, hitting the wealthy woman like a ton of bricks. And then, for the pièce de résistance, the owner leans in ever so slightly, their eyes locking with hers. "But I'm curious, do you remember me?" "Because I remember you." The wealthy woman's face goes pale. The recognition is instant, and the weight of her past actions comes crashing down. She stammers, trying to claw back some dignity, but it's far too late. The power dynamic has shifted entirely. Around the room, diners exchange knowing looks. Justice has been served, not on a silver platter, but with the quiet confidence of someone who knows their worth. And as for the wealthy woman, oh, she's learned her lesson, though she'd never admit it. The tables have officially turned, and there's no turning back now. And now, the final act. The wealthy woman, her confidence shattered, sits awkwardly in her chair, fidgeting with her designer bag as she tries to salvage the situation. I didn't mean to cause trouble," she mutters, her voice barely audible. a stark contrast to the arrogant tone she wielded earlier. But the damage is done, and everyone in the restaurant knows it. The owner, still composed and unwavering, offers her a small professional smile. "I appreciate the apology," they say, their tone firm but not unkind. "But here we value respect for everyone. Perhaps this will be a moment of reflection for you." With that, the wealthy woman nods stiffly, her face flushed with embarrassment as she mumbles something about needing to leave. As she gathers her belongings and makes her way to the door, the entire room seems to exhale. Justice has been served, not with a dramatic confrontation, but with the quiet authority of someone who knows their value. Meanwhile, the waitress, who had been standing off to the side, is approached by the owner. "You handled yourself with grace," they say warmly. "Take a moment for yourself. You've earned it." The waitress, now smiling, walks away with her head held high, her confidence restored. And as the door closes behind the wealthy woman, the restaurant returns to its usual buzz. But there's a new energy in the air, one of triumph and quiet vindication. The moral of the story? Respect isn't optional, and karma has a way of finding you when you least expect it. A satisfying ending, wouldn't you agree?